When a serious illness like ALS hits a family, it changes, well, pretty much everything. Today, we're going to talk about something very specific, a really profound relationship, the one between a daughter and her parents. We're going to explore this unique and pretty emotional journey together.
This quote right here, it just perfectly captures the heart of the matter. It sets up this powerful dual identity that a daughter with ALS has to live with every single day. You've got one foot in her past, her history, and the other in a really uncertain present.
So let's really dive into that, right? This idea of having two identities at once. How do these two roles, being the daughter and being the person with ALS, how do they even coexist?
Okay, so on one hand, she is still the daughter, the one who shares all the inside jokes and has a whole lifetime of memories with her family. But on the other hand, she's a person dealing with the day-to-day reality of a progressive disease. Now, these two identities aren't always fighting each other. Sometimes, that history of being a daughter gives her the strength to face ALS. But other times, yeah, they collide. And that creates some really complex emotional friction.
And this brings us to one of the biggest, most fundamental shifts that happens, what some call the great role reversal within the family.
Think about it. For most of our lives, the dynamic is pretty clear, right? Parents take care of their kids. But ALS just flips that whole script upside down. Suddenly, the care starts flowing in a new direction. And let me tell you, that transition is almost never simple or comfortable.
Just try to imagine that first conversation. For a parent, hearing this news, these questions, they're not just about getting information. They are a raw mix of hope, of disbelief, and that crushing, heartbreaking realization that maybe for the first time, they can't protect their child from something this big.
And this is where all those family roles that seem so set in stone just get completely shaken up. If a daughter was always the fiercely independent one, well, having to ask for help can feel like she's losing a piece of who she is. And for parents, seeing their strong, capable child become vulnerable, that's deeply unsettling for everyone.
So beyond all the physical challenges and the changing roles, there is this enormous emotional weight that the daughter often carries. And a lot of the time, she carries it in silence.
This protective instinct, it is just so powerful. A daughter's first thought is often, how can I shield my parents from this pain? So she might downplay her symptoms or, hide how frustrated she is. And that comes from a place of love, of course, but it can also build a wall of silence right when open communication is needed the most. I mean, just look at this emotional cocktail she's dealing with. It is totally possible to feel this immense gratitude for your parents' help, and at the exact same time, feel frustrated that you even need it. And there's often this profound sense of guilt that the people who raised you now have to watch you struggle. That is an incredibly heavy load to carry. And of course, parents are trying to figure this all out too, and they often react in different but equally loving ways. You might see a mother connect on this deep, emotional, almost intuitive level. She can sense the fear without a word even being said. Fathers, on the other hand, often show their love through action. They're the problem solvers, the ones fixing things, building a ramp. And hey, it's not that one is better than the other, not at all. They're just two sides of the very same coin of parental love and support.
All of this change, it forces everyone to redefine some pretty big concepts. Things like independence and connection. They have to be completely reimagined.
Before the diagnosis, independence probably meant all the usual things, right? Managing a career, driving your own car, traveling, just making plans on the fly. These are the classic signs of being an autonomous adult, and ALS challenges every single one of them.
And this right here is such a crucial turning point. The key message is that your sense of self, your agency, it isn't just about what your body can physically do. Independence isn't lost, it evolves.
So what does this new kind of independence look like? Well, it means being the one who makes the crucial decisions about her own care. It means guiding the family's choices, and it means staying at the emotional center of the family. Her voice, her will, her spirit, those things remain fiercely independent.
So while the present is always changing, the past becomes this incredibly strong anchor. That shared history, all those childhood stories and inside jokes, that stuff doesn't get erased. In fact, those memories become even more important. They reinforce that deep, unchanging bond that exists way beyond the illness.
So what's the takeaway from all this? It's that this whole experience reshapes the family bond, for sure. But does it break it? Absolutely not. As the disease progresses, a really simple but powerful idea becomes the most important thing of all: presence.
It's not about finding a cure or trying to fix the problem anymore. It's about the quiet act of just being together, of listening, of sharing time, and that becomes one of the most meaningful gifts a family can possibly share.
I really want to let this quote sink in for a second because it just says it all. The roles shift, the conversations change, but the core identity of daughter and parent, that stays. The love isn't gone. It just finds new ways to show itself.
When you step back, you see that going through something this hard actually reveals some incredible truths. It teaches us that family love is astonishingly resilient. It shows us that support isn't a one-way street, and that real strength, well, it's found in emotional presence and connection, not just physical ability.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. In a world that so often measures our value by what we do, this experience forces a totally different perspective. It asks us to think about how we measure love when the simple, quiet act of just being present for someone becomes the most powerful gift of all.